Hey, what's up, guys? It's Guiltspire here, and welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We are back once again, this time with round 1 of Season 1. We went through the trials and tribulations of Season 0 and went through many of learning experiences. But now we are here once again with our Sunday division, kicking it off between 4 Dwights 1 Locker versus EMA. Now, this is our first match of many today. This is our first from 4 p.m. CST to 6 p.m. CST. And we also have a match between 8 p.m. CST to 10 and 10 to 12. So, if you guys are interested in watching all of those, do make sure to be back here at 8 p.m. CST sharp, as we'll be having our next match, that one being between Legacy versus We Can't Loop. So some really exciting stuff for this entire season. We'll be streaming every single match. There are some circumstances where they do end up being a bit of a double header, so do keep in mind that not every match will be streamed. Much like tonight, we have both Deadheads and Milkshake Mafia, as well as Travesty versus WO. They are happening at 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. CST. So do keep in mind that I'll be flipping a coin to figure out who will be streamed and who will be not. But with that being said, I am wicked excited for today's stream, and hopefully you all are as well. And it's great to be back. Today I'm going to be solo casting. So you'll be joined by me, myself, and I today. And I believe we're going to be getting this thing kicked off quite soon now, as we do have 3 out of 4 of the members of EMA here in lobby. 4 Dwights and Locker will be killing first today, so do keep that in mind. They're bringing in Dread for Death, a new member to my knowledge, who I have not yet seen here on COTF. But how y'all doing today, chat? Hopefully y'all are doing well. Yo, what's up, Yui? What's up, Psycho? What's up, Kashak? You know, in fact, while we have some time, let's run a prediction, shall we? Who will win? 4 Dwights 1 Locker versus EMA. We're going to do, let's say, a 5-minute timer. So feel free to use up those channel points now. We still need to figure out what we're going to do with those channel points, to be honest. So if you guys have any ideas of things you would like to see, please do DM me. But yo, what's up, Prilacito? And before I forget, since I did see you here, Prilacito, if you do not mind, you will be in charge of chat today if you have the time and attention for it. Let me come cast fast? Maybe next time, Jazzy. Maybe next time, my friend. Dread is an absolute beast, you're saying? Ooh, alright. I'm looking forward to seeing what these teams bring out. Obviously, 4 Dwights 1 Locker previously. Oh, 1 second. And let me just let them know that the reason why I'm not in spectator yet is because we still have one other person. We are waiting on one other person. Need to confirm builds. Alright. So let's take a look at these predictions real quick. Right now we have 23,000 channel points to 4 Dwights 1 Locker 1,700. So people are putting a lot of faith in EMA today. Are you here as well, Draft? Thank you. I appreciate the heads up. Perfect. So I have everyone I need for today. And thank you, Pilacito, for that subscribe. That will go towards our prize pool for Season 1 of COTF. For those who do not know, your viewership goes towards the prize pool of this season. Why are you not VIP? Because I still have to figure out VIP. He's waiting until he's ready for us to ready. Yes. Builds, please. Don't give Kieran VIP. I'll have to figure out how I have to divvy out VIP. We'll see, we'll see. But first build in from EMA. So far, so good there. Second build coming in. Also looking good. So, for those who are not aware, this season, some of the major changes that we have experienced is that every killer can be used twice, A. B, the Nemesis and their perks, as well as Jill and Leon's perks, have been added to the pool. As well as we have made a slight change, a very slight change on the point system. We have lowered the total number of points that killers can get just by a little bit. If you do want to check out those changes, you can jump over to the Discord channel, !Discord, or the panel down below, where you can check out those exact changes to the point totals. Besides that, everything is pretty much the same as far as bans and otherwise. So we should be pretty much good to go. Everyone who is now, for all intent and purpose, a veteran of COTF will know what's up. And for all of those new, like EMA, I'm sure they have gone through the rules plenty of times. Our first map today is going to be Gas Heaven. For all intent and purpose, a pretty well-balanced map, though sometimes the middle can have some interesting RNG with the pallets. Followed by Coal Tower. It previously was going to be Ironworks of Misery, but Ironworks right now is experiencing a desync bug and thus has been replaced by Coal Tower for the time being. Third build looks good to go. We are now just waiting on our fourth player, and then we will be kicking off round 1 of the Sunday division. I have trust in my enforcers to be impartial. If it is a concern, I will discuss ways to work around in the future. Even though Noah is banned, can we get it banned a second time? Can we get what banned? Noah banned? Re-allow Noah and ban Haunted. Well, for now, we're going to take a look and see how the season goes regarding Noed. This season, I'm going to take detailed statistics of perk choices, of killer win-loss ratios, on what map, stuff like that. That way we can kind of go into more detail and see if Noed needs to be allowed. So this season we do have a lot of good survivor teams, so there is definitely that possibility. But looking again at the builds, looking good, looking good. We're just waiting on our last survivor. It looks like they're having some trouble with DBD, you know, DBD being DBD. Allow Noed and I'll start murdering people. I mean, that is the purpose of Noed. That is indeed the purpose of Noed. But like I said, we're going to currently base the current We are currently going to base the current rules for Season 1 on what is in rules, and then base it for Season 2 on what we see in Season 1. It was in Captain's Chat. All right. Apparently, this is what EMA gets for playing PUBG before a tourney. DBD not wanting to load up, so right now we're still in that waiting phase. I want to see, what did that prediction look like? Unfortunately, I didn't see what the final results were before it did expire. And with that being said, fingers crossed we get them in soon. But with that being said, who do we think is going to be brought out today as far as killers are concerned? Do you guys think we're going to see some S-tier killers, A-tier killers? What do you guys think today? You know, EMA, known for being a pretty strong team, all things considered. As well as Fortnite's Unlocker coming in second place last season as well. So do we think that's going to be a complete blowout? Or do we think that Fortnite's Unlocker is going to put in a pretty good fight, depending on what the killers bring to the table? And do we think that this game's going to be a killer-sided match or survivor-sided match? I think that's really what I'm interested in seeing, is really diving deep into, is this going to be like Season 0, where we are going to see killers kind of dominate the boards? Allowed know it so I can get a 4K? Is that really what you need, Kieran, for you to 4K Nurse? Is that really what you need? The week with Cold Tower has been swapped for Ironworks? No. So we're gonna double up on Cold Tower Psycho, based on that information, simply because there has been a desync issue. And in the future, I will probably, and I know this hasn't been an issue in the past, apply a time penalty or a time limit for how long we can wait in lobby before forfeiting the match. I'm thinking, would it be reasonable to say 15 minutes, guys? Since you guys know the start time. So it is possible that we might need to look into that, because I do understand that your time is valuable. Let's see here. Yeah, no, I understand, Psycho, I understand. Give me one moment. Alright, so we have the fourth build. I'm gonna make a stanceless unless your fourth is able to join. In 2 minutes, the first match will be forfeit. Unfortunately, anyone added to your roster will need to wait until 7 days to participate. This is in the rules are the rules in this case. So yeah, it looks like what's happening is that someone from EMA is currently having some net issues. This is why, and to clarify for those, this is why there is a 16-player maximum for your roster. This way, if you do need a sub last minute because something happens, you know, life happens, this is a game, you know, you will be able to have someone as backup. But unfortunately, you know, if you're not able to get them in, then you kind of need to use who else is on your roster. Thank you kindly. So I've been notified that they do have a replacement coming in right now. So they'll be joining momentarily. I'll give them a few extra minutes, and they'll be getting in to this match. Yep, someone's coming right now. Looks like Card is. So I do appreciate you guys being patient, as well as Dread for Death being patient for this first match here. Could it be ready in the lobby 5-10 minutes before stream starts? I normally have everything getting started. Some people obviously run matches right before. So I think the addition to the rule would be that 15 minutes. If 15 minutes pass, then it's going to be a game loss. Today, we're going to extend that a little bit, just because that is not officially in the rules. But going forward, any competitor and their teams have been warned. You have 15 minutes. If you are not there within 15 minutes of the start of the match, it will be considered a match loss and you will forfeit, whether that be your killer or survivor team in that moment. So just keep that in mind going forward. As obviously, you know, everyone's time is valuable, whether that be mine, whether that be yours, and so on. Builds are indeed okay. Builds are good to go. Alright, everything looks good. Everyone is here. And good to go. Alright, so we have gotten the full team of EMA in, and we are once again on Gas 7 with Dread for Death playing killer. Just need Card to bring in their build. And yeah, switching over. Okay, it looks like they're just doing a last-minute switch, making sure the builds are good. And we'll be getting the ball rolling here with round 1, or game 1 of round 1 of the Sunday Division. Hope you guys are excited as I am. All right. And let's see. We have 4 out of the 5 currently readied up, and I think Card is just doing some customization real quick. Why not stand out too much on Zarina? And here we go. Much like last season, we do have a full minute delay on stream, so do keep that in mind, please, and thank you. And let's see who Dread for Death brings to the table on this first killer match of Season 1 of COTF. Personally, I am expecting an S or A tier, whether that be a Nurse Spirit, Blight, or otherwise. You know, EMA, like I said, is well known in Dead by Daylight comp community for being pretty good at the game. So I do not feel that Fortnite's Unlocker is going to be pulling any punches in this regard. I'd be rather surprised, to say the least. And let's jump right on in. Let me do a quick check on the builds. Everything is looking good. And we have Zaka, Card, and Dread for Death on the Nurse. Not too bad at all. So we're kicking things off strong today. And Dread for Death is now on Card and trying to get into this first chase, trying to predict their movement and see if they're able to get a early hit. And so far, nothing has connected. Currently going on a quick chase here, as I think they have switched over to Gem, where they do get their first hit, and Gem in a very difficult position, actually, where they are in a corner and now going down. So that'll be first hook here for Dread for Death. I will note, as we look around for the auras, there is no one, or there is no corrupt intervention this game. So that is quite surprising. I mean, that there are 3 people on generators as we speak, and every generator, as you guys well know, only take 80 seconds. So I do expect 1 or 3 gens going to pop off quite soon. And it does appear that Dread for Death is using Undyne, as we did see Zaka's Aura Red there as they're on that generator. And Dread for Death once again getting a very clean hit. That Aura Reach from Undyne coming in clutch, and another down for Dread for Death. Not bad at all. And that is 2 gens as we did anticipate. Though it would appear that Gem has not gotten off the hook just yet until this moment. Dread for Death in that moment did smell blood in the water and was going to be going for that hook denial, or unhook denial, but did not come to fruition. It does appear now that Dread for Death is going to be going for Gem, completely ignoring Zynox, or Zynox? Yeah, Zynox. But Zynox is going to be harassing Dread and trying to light burn them. A little thing that you don't see all too often, does happen more in pubs than I do see in comp, but a very cheeky play trying to deny Nurse's ability to teleport freely. And looks like Dread having to, you know, change their positioning here and go for Zynox instead of Gem, as Zynox was continuously trying to light burn them, denying that ability to blink. But Dread not really heeding that, getting a hit on Zynox, and immediately back for Gem here, which I think is the right move. It's hard to say how long it has been since their initial unhook, so it is possible that Dread might eat a DS, but does not, and is now able to reapply pressure on gens, though I am fearful that gen that Zaka was on earlier will get popped off, as we do see here. Though, thanks to seeing Zarina, right before that hook, is able to move right into another chase. So I'm imagining a very cheeky firecracker attempt. And looks like Dread is going to try and go for an early kill here, which I think is the right move. With 3 generators done, in comp especially, you are ideally going to want a survivor dead. So I think Dread is going to go once again for Gem here and try and reduce the number of resources that these survivors have available to them. Dread may be losing Gem though, and is now picking up on the trail of Zynox, the Lori. At the end of the day, sometimes you just take what you can get, and this is definitely one of those scenarios where Dread does not want to give up pressure freely. I do imagine, though, that Gem does end up resetting, and Zynox able to dodge Dread, and another gen being done. At this point in time, there's only 1 generator done at this point, and Dread needs to get some downs very quickly. I mean, very easily they could end up with a 1K here if played well, but Zynox just not allowing them to gain any distance whatsoever. As far as the gen spread is concerned, it's not all too bad for Dread, where if Nurse, of course, you're able to move between, you know, 1 to 32 meters rather quickly. So I don't think they're really all too worried about their gen placement. Though, of course, if they do end up doubling up or tripling up on a generator, it could be an issue. And did we just see an insta-down? It would appear that Devour Hope is in play. So that will be another down for Dread, and Gem is now out of the match. These survivors now in a very tricky predicament, as they have to now worry about getting insta-downed, and though one totem has been gotten, it would appear that it was a little bit too late. Real question is, were they able to get Devour Hope as Undyne was in play prior? We do also know that Ruin as well was in the game, but has not been cleansed yet. So right now, at the very least, we do know that Dread is left with Ruin at this point in time. No more Undying. The question is Devour still up? That I do not know, but it would appear to have been cleansed. With that being said, Dread is now really going to put the pressure on EMA, as they're going to try and now go for Zynox. Zynox, though, giving Dread a really difficult time this entire match thus far, and showing that once again with a very good Dead Hard to avoid the initial hit, and both of them trying to mind game one another, but Dread does come out ahead in the end, getting Zynox on the ground. I mean, during this time, as they had to cleanse totems, these generators have done some decent regression. So Dread is probably feeling in a pretty good position right now, where they're able to really just go from chase to chase to chase, and not really have to worry all too much about these generators. Of course, with Devour Hope being cleansed, they're definitely in a difficult position, but Ruin is still going to be regressing those gens passively throughout these chases when Savars are not on generators. I will say, though, that Dread is being brought out to a bit of an awkward area where they're not really near any of their generators that they want to be at, and gets a very close near miss there on card. A little bit of an overblink, but maybe the intention was not to go for a card, but instead pressure the gen. I think this is the right move. That chase was going on for a little bit of a long time, and if an instance Prove Thyself is in the game, then a generator is only going to take 40 seconds to complete. And looks like they're back in chase of Zynox, but honestly, if I'm Dread in this situation, I wouldn't go for this chase at this point in time. You know, in all seriousness, I think I would really pressure these generators and go for someone who has at least shown not to be able to dodge as easily as Zynox has. And it looks like that's exactly what Dread for Death has done, and is now back on card in this moment. Trying to get card down ASAP, but trying and not really having a great time finding them, but does get that first hit on card, and we'll need to get this down pretty quickly here. The attempt at the light burn on the nurse, but no dice, and going down here. Dread for Death is now on 7 hooks, but the last generator has been done. It's going to be interesting to see if they end up with this 2K. Honestly, it is possible for them to simply have just camped that out, got in the 2K 8 hook, and called it a day, but it looks like Dread is seeing blood in the water, as we did see a noise notification over by the exit gate, and in fact, we see that exit gate blocked off by No Way Out. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to capitalize off this time. I do imagine these two survivors are going to be waiting out No Way Out, but they do go back for the unhook. I think that it may have been a mistake on the part of Dread for Death not camping that out potentially. But they still have some time left on No Way Out as we speak, so these survivors have not even started working on the exit gates. But Dread frantically looking for a card or someone to get back up on hook. And there's a very real possibility that Dread for Death ends up with a 8 hook 2K for the first match of round 1, and just barely missing that hit. They're probably cursing themselves right now. And another miss by Dread. I imagine at this point with No Way Out, the exit gates are now open, and Dread does confirm the down. Question of the day, does card have DS? If I was them, I might wait out a little bit longer, but looks like no DS in hand, and that will be a 8 hook 2K for Dread for Death. Not bad at all. So very good showing by Dread, to say the least. And very excited to see what EMA comes back with in response to that first match. And as we can see here, we see the full builds of the teams. And very interesting build. Definitely first time seeing that build on the Nurse in this situation. But really good showing. I think the usage of the Devour Hope really came in clutch there in order to get that initial kill by Dread for Death on Gem. So very good job. So, with that being said, let's take a look at our point total, shall we? That was 5 gens with 2 people out. We had 8 hooks total, with 2 people being 3 hooked. So, in total, we are looking at 29 points on Survivor and 32 points for the Killer. So really, really close match here, only 3 points off from one another. So it's still, at this point, anyone's game. Up next, we do have EMA bringing in their own Killer, who I believe on this one is going to be... Let me double check, make sure. Let's see, who is killing? We got Zaka as Killer today, so they should be inviting me momentarily. Yeah, amazing showing on both teams. That was a really exciting first round, to say the least. And with that being said, let me add Zaka real quick via the DBD IDs and jump into their lobby. Check Discord. Alright, let me add Zaka. Oh, looks like I already have them added. Even better. So let me join them. Maybe. Or do I not have them added? Good question. Maybe I don't have them added. Oh, no, I do not have them added. For some reason, when I see view profile, I think that I have them added. So with that being said, let's actually close out this prediction. As far as points are concerned, 4 Dwights, 1 Locker came out on top by 3. Marginal, yes, but still, it does matter. So for all of those who betted on 4 Dwights, 1 Locker, nicely done. Enjoy your rewards. Let's set up another prediction, though, for round 2 and see who wins. Who will win? 4 Dwights versus EMA. There you guys go. Yep, 32 4 Dwights, 29 EMA. That is correct. If you guys do want to check out the scorecard in real time, you guys can check out the Discord, which you can find either via !Discord or down in the panels below chat. We do have those live. All right. As a reminder to our competitors, we are on Gas Heaven, and I will need your builds. So builds, please. May message Zaka. And looks like 4 Dwights, 1 Lockers already on top of the ball. And we are looking good on first build, good on second. We're good on the third. Just want to double check one more time, one thing. Good on the third. And last but not least, we are good on the fourth. Good stuff. Now we're just waiting on EMA. And looking good here as well. At Zaka, Gas Heaven, please. That is correct. All right, well, the builds look good to go. Just want to make sure that the map is correct on Gas Heaven before we do get started. And with that being said... Oh, all the wrong buttons. Good to go. All right, let's switch back over to the main screen as we're going to be jumping on in to this next round. Just waiting on the Survivor team to ready on up. And I'm quite excited. You know, as I said before, this is pretty much anyone's match. And so far, I wouldn't say that it's either Survivor-sided or Killer-sided. Nurse played a really good match that match. Really applying some really good pressure, making good use of their perks, Ruin, Undying, Devour Hope, and No Way Out. Really coming in clutch. That it is. Just getting one more confirmation on the builds. Everything is looking good here. And looks like Forward White's made a last-minute swap on one of their add-ons, but looking good nonetheless. And now it's up to Forward White's one locker to keep their lead, however small it might be. A lead is a lead, whether it be 3 points or 30. So let's see if Zaka is able to apply the pressure and either try and draw out the match, keep that lead short, or even overcome it and end up putting EMA in a winning position. Let's wait and see as we're jumping right on into the second match of round 1. Forward White's one locker versus EMA. Very, very excited about this. Hopefully you guys are too. This is going to be a close match. I'm feeling it. I feel like this is going to come down to, I'm going to say now, single-digit difference between these two teams. I feel like this is going to be single-digit difference. All right, all right. So let's take a look. Let's do a quick perk check, Survivor side. Once we load on in, and then we'll be jumping right on in to see who the killer is for match number 2. Alright guys, enjoying yourselves, because I am. I'm very excited for COTF to be back. Hopefully y'all are as well. And with that being said, quick perk and add-on check. So far we are looking good. And we are good to go. Let's see. And we see Zaka on the Twins. And let's take a look as we see Corrupt Intervention currently on the prowl. Question of the day, will Forward White's one locker opt to wait out Corrupt? And looks like they were, but they found a little piece of candy, and before being able to do it, Victor is on top of Bitsy, denying them that value. Looks like that's one totem out, and they know where the second one is. It's not exactly in a great position. And really, really being aggressive with that totem. I don't know if that was the right move there. Of course, Victor is currently being held hostage, but that will not last much longer, as he is back in hand of Zaka, and Joker going down for the first hook of the match, though. Ooh, Zaka taking the opportunity to bring out Victor again in the meanwhile, and looks like Bitsy has been healed during this time. So I think some mistakes here by Forward White's one locker, kind of early, being a bit aggressive on that totem. Honestly, should have given Zaka a wide berth, and, you know, with the knowledge of the totem being there, you know, going to get it later once they're back in chase, but looks like they were able to get that totem, and that will be 2 totem perks out. And if Corrupt Intervention about to expire, it will be a 1 perk Twins coming up here. Once again, Zaka's on the prowl with Victor, trying to identify where these survivors are. And Victor's being a bit of a speedy boy with this forest stew. But looks like Zaka's going to take the opportunity to really apply pressure on this first hook, which makes a ton of sense, get these survivors, you know, pressured early. But it does appear that first generator has been popped. And looks like Zaka has found their next victim. Bitsy, once again, getting Victor on their back almost every single time. And looks like we do see the unhook on Joker. And Joker trying to take the BT hit, but to no avail. Zaka's not taken that bait. And will instead be going for Kashak as Claudette and moving into this tile. Victor once again being taken hostage here, but will not last forever. Only 45 seconds, and will Zaka get the down? There's the dead hard, but will it be enough? It is not, and that will be the second down for this match. And that is hook number 2. With only one gen done by Fortnite's One Locker. If I'm Zaka, I'm feeling pretty comfortable here. Joker has since been healed, and Victor has been released once again to go on a prowl. And looks like this time, Luma will be the babysitter for Victor. Or rather, caretaker to be more exact. We don't want to refer to Victor as baby, but, you know, babysitting can be referred to an adult, I suppose, as well. Interesting, Zaka opening up garage. You don't see many killers open up that door all too early until the generator has been completed. So I am interested in the thought process there. Maybe those in chat can explain a little bit further. But looks like Zaka is really going to apply some pressure here to Kashak. I am curious though, since Kashak was the first to get an unhook, if Deliverance is in hand. We'll have to wait and see here. And so far, no other generators have been done for Fortnite's Unlockers. So if this does go to second stage, there is Deliverance in play and another 2 generators. Very good usage of Deliverance here. But unfortunately, receiving another down at the hands of Victor. Though I imagine Zaka is going to be a little bit, you know, concerned of situations like DS being in hand. So this is still anyone's game right now. We're still really close. 9 points to 8 points as we speak. And looks like Zaka's going to take that chance. Do they get hit by DS? No DS, it would seem. So it looks like Kashak will be going back up on hook. So that'll be hook number 3 for Zaka's twins. And this puts Fortnite's One Locker into a bit of a predicament. Honestly, though, if I was them, I would just have 3 people on gens, let Zaka camp this out, get 2 people out the very least, which should at most either tie up the game or, you know, keep it where it is. I think that'd be a smart play. But Luma does go down here. It looks like they do end up getting the unhook on Kashak. But we do know for certain that Kashak does not have DS, so Zaka, I think, gonna be going for the kill, and does find Kashak, and ends up with 2 slugs. Will they go for the 3rd hit with Victor? Only time will tell. They're definitely on the prowl at the very least here. Looks like opting to pressure. Ooh, interesting attempt there. Trying to dodge Victor by going into the locker. Did not work out well, however. And Bitsy now is going to have Victor on them. And now in a chase with Zaka. They are regressing this generator, but it's only a bop, not a pop. And Twins coming out to try and confirm this down for a 3-man slug. Looks like Bitsy will be going down. Luma's down. Zaka is back up. And looks like they're going to sit at this gen for a little bit, which I think is the smart move, all things considered. I think them regressing that's going to be the right play. Fortnite's Locker definitely needs to reset, but once again, Victor sees blood on the ground, is going to be going for another down, but does get kicked in the interim by Luma. So looks like this will be first hook for Bitsy. And Fortnite's One Locker still in a good position. I still think they can get a 2-man out here based on the current circumstances, but it's definitely going to prove difficult. Looks like Zaka bop another gen. To keep in mind, though, I think it's only 3% per second when you bop a gen with no additional gen regression, as we do not see Pop Goes the Weasel in play. So for 1% of a generator, it takes about 3 seconds. But Joker, now the caretaker of Victor for the next 45 seconds at the very most. And looks like they are taking their time to reset. And Zaka does know that Deliverance is currently out of play and does see scratch marks. Looks like that was Kashak trying to gen tap that and apply some additional pressure. I mean, Forward White's Locker does have a 2-gen split. Honestly, they don't need to focus in on the gens over here. They could go for the other gens that are outside of this car pile. I'd be surprised if they don't. And Bitsy does end up going to second stage here. That now means that there are 2 players on Death Hook, and looks like Joker will be going down at the hands of Victor. I don't think a single survivor now has gone down by Charlotte. All M2s all day. And Forest One Locker looks like they're going to be trying to get this last gen, but Luma out here still injured. Narrowly getting hit by Victor, though, on that pounce, meaning that there are 2 people slugged out, and looks like Bitsy and Joker may have gone for the pickup. I do believe we see 1 person on this generator over here, though, and that would appear to be Joker getting slugged once again, however. You know, Zaka really applying the pressure here, trying to ensure that they're not able to get this next generator. Ends up with Kashak being hit by Victor, now the caretaker of Victor Boy. And once again, taking the time to bop this gen. It's looking like this is going to be a game of attrition and not a one-sided match, but Forward White's getting that gen, and now we're on a 2-1 split for these generators. They're still relatively close together, however, I will mention, especially with Victor being a 150 base speed, and with that Force Stew increasing even further. So Forward White's One Locker, not in a comfortable position, but arguably not in a bad position either. But Kashak, once again, becoming the caretaker, and will be denied the ability to pick up Luma as of right now. Now, I will mention, Zaka will have to be careful here, as letting these survivors bleed out can result in a loss of points. As you do not get any benefit from them bleeding out. You don't get any progression points. You don't get any hook points. It is simply a bleed out. So they do need to be careful about how long they slug these survivors for. A attempt by Joker to avoid that hit by Victor, but will be going down once again. And I think if Forward White's One Locker just takes their time here, you know, doesn't rush things, I think that they can bring this back. Looks like Luma, Bitsy, Kashak have now been fully healed. Victor missing a hit, but Bitsy not taking the opportunity to kick the Vic, and instead will become the caretaker and will take possession of Vic for at least another 45 seconds. Zaka once again taking the opportunity to bop the gen, but there's that gen on the far side that I'm very, very skeptical of it not being worked on as of this moment. Joker is now up. Zaka taking the time to bop the gen, and I think that all this time taken, you know, regressing the gens by the 0.03 second per 0.03% per second is honestly doing more harm than good. But Bitsy now going up onto their 3rd hook, and that will be the first survivor out of the game with only 1 generator left. And Zaka sees what I see and sees that this generator here is now almost fully completed, and will go for the gen regression. So 1 survivor out, and that is now 6 hooks in. If Zaka is able to confirm a 2nd kill, even if Fortnite's One Lockers do escape, it'll probably end up being a draw by the end of this all. And let's see, Zaka once again being patient here, looking around for these generators, trying to apply some even gen pressure. We do see the 5th gen going off though, and now it's off to the races for Fortis Locker and Zaka to either get the 2-man out or to get this, get a 3-man out. So it's going to be interesting. We hear Joker over in gas station, and Joker trying to avoid getting down here, but to no avail. Will Zaka try and go for another pounce in interim? And they are thinking about it, but will end up getting hit. There is a way out of the situation for Kashak, but it's going to be a dangerous one at that. Now trying to drag Zaka away from Joker in the meanwhile. I imagine Luma trying to get Joker up, and they do successfully make it happen. And now they need to try and escape as soon as possible. We see that one exit gate 99. Luma heading towards it as we speak. Kashak making their way over, and Zaka bringing out Victor to try and slow them down. We do see blood once again of Joker. Honestly, ooh, them not breaking that door could prove detrimental, as we do see Joker in chase of twins. Luma needs to take a body block, however, and will get in front of Zaka. Will Joker be able to get to the exit gate, though? They do not. And Kashak is nowhere to be found, with Joker now going up on hook. Luma being a bit daring, though, and Zaka trying to block out Luma from being able to open up this exit gate. But Kashak, once again, nowhere to be seen, and Victor in a less than ideal position, but with some information that they're not on that other exit gate as we speak. If Kashak was nearby, which they were, that would have been a great time to open up the exit gate. It looks like that was the play. Wow, this could go a completely different direction than I previously thought here. I thought it was going to be a 2-man out, but this could end up in a full loss for 4-1 Locker if they are not careful, with Zaka being a very advantageous position. They're going to need to reset as we speak in order to either try to A, get the 2-man out, or B, try and save Joker for the 3-man. It's going to be a very, very close match, and might be reminiscent of the match prior, to be honest with you. Looks like Luma and Kashak have now been healed. Only problem, though, is that if they're not careful, Victor will end up being able to apply a Blood Warden-like effect to a healthy survivor who is pounced on. I imagine that Zaka is going to just pressure this hook state here, which I think is the right move, and allow both Kashak and Luma to escape via the other exit gate. I think that is the play here by 4-1 Locker, and I think they just go with that. But looks like they're going to bring out Victor and trying to apply that Bloodworm effect. Joker has indeed hit their 3rd stage, and Victor going for a pounce here, misses, kicked, and that will be a 2-man out. Narrowly missing those survivors. Final score for that match, we are looking at 29 for 4-1 Locker and 30 for EMA. A very, very close match indeed. Final score as of this moment is 61 for White's 1 Locker, 59 EMA. So a very, very narrow win by EMA here. 1 point, so let's go to that prediction. And looks like choose outcome, EMA now coming up on top. 1 point is 1 point at the end of the day. So congratulations to EMA for those who voted on them. So we can see here that Zaka's build was Corrupt Intervention, Ruin, Undyne, and Thanatophobia. Ruin and Undyne being cleansed really early did prove detrimental to their overall build and the overall game plan. But we're going to be moving into the 3rd match now. And I do believe Zaka will be playing again. Let's confirm on what build they are going to bring. And let's confirm with Gem. Yes. Zaka, please provide... build, please. It was same hooks as Nurse, but more progressions. That's the main difference there. That's why we see that little bit of a shift in points, is progressions are worth a little bit less. But really, really, really good play by both teams. It was very, very close, very good play by all. So wicked excited to see you know, what EMA brings to the table this time round. I imagine that with it as close as it is, they're going to want to try and, you know, either bridge that final gap, which is, I think, all of 2 points, or to really create a lead for them here on Cold Tower. Looking good by Zaka, and I believe the builds are good to go on 4 Dwight's 1 Locker. So we are good to go when they are. Alright, alright. Let me also make sure I update this. The twins were used by EMA. Alright. Yeah, eventually we will be getting a scoreboard, guys, so you guys are aware. This is something that my designer, Peter, is working on. So be patient in that regard, but for now, my mods will, help us out and let you guys know. Yeah, it was an 8-stage twin, so not bad at all. For those who don't know, hooks are worth 4 points, while progressions are worth 3. Deaths apply no additional bonus. So all about the hooks and progressions. So we had our 4-1 Locker match the first round with 32 points on Nurse versus Twins at 30, simply because they got progressions in comparison to hooks. So very, very close match on both sides. Survivor sides, exactly the same. 5 gens, 2 man out. So we're either going to need to see a repeat of this same exact thing by the survivors, or a complete and utter change of pace by the killer to try and, you know, sway the score in one team's favor. I mean, personally, in this league as the commissioner, the one who has created the point system, an ideal game for the killer is a 6-hook 2K. Anything more than that, you're golden. But, with that being said, I believe we're just waiting on 4 Dwight's 1 Locker here. Looks like they might be discussing some strategy real quick. Just let them know ready when you are. Alright, let me actually, before I forget, let me create another prediction for you guys. You guys do seem to like those. Let's start another prediction for Dwight's Locker versus EMA. Prediction number 3. 'Tis time to put your channel points where your mouth is. Who is going to win match number 3 with EMA killing once again, Zaka going back-to-back games, and this time we are on Cold Tower. To clarify, for those thinking it'd be Ironworks of Misery, as I did mention prior, Ironworks currently has a desync issue since we did last-minute switch over to Cold Tower. Do keep that in mind. But we're jumping right on in as we speak. So let's see what the survivors and killer bring to the table. I mean, we saw a S tier from 4 Dwight's 1 Locker round 1. We saw an A tier, which some people do argue is S tier for the Twins in round number 2. For match number 3, will we see an S or A tier by EMA? 'Tis the question. Let's do a quick check on the builds for 4 Dwight's, and we are looking good here. And we have now seen a Nurse from Zaka. Ooh, and we do see Corrupt Intervention being used. I am curious to see what build they bring beside that. And they are finding a very quick and early chase here, and looks like attempting to try and get a flashlight light burn on the Nurse, but to no avail. It did extend the chase, no ifs, ands, or buts about that, but Kashak not playing this horribly well, and Nurse getting a death from above. And a very early first hook. That was probably, give or take, 45 seconds for first hook, meaning that there's still an additional minute 30, a little bit more, for Corrupted Invention, putting these survivors into a really weak position. And Zaka doing a quick check on their totem, and does find someone on it. So a little bit concerning for the survivors because Shock was using the same build as before, because that would mean that Deliverance is out of hand. Of course, we do not know that, theoretically speaking. And with that being said, we do see another survivor back on the totem. They're very aggressively trying to get these totems, and I would argue in some cases too aggressively. Much what like we saw on their first survivor match, which was match 2 against the twins. They were a bit too aggressive on totems. Though I think it's necessary to get rid of things like Ruin or Devour early. Being too aggressive can prove to be detrimental as well. It looks like Zaka will confirm the progression on for Dwight's. Leaving a little bit early, but does end up getting it nonetheless. And these survivors trying desperately to get this first gen out, but to no avail. And the nurse now has everybody injured and is smelling blood in the water. Gonna be trying to close this match out quick. Another down on Bitsy. Will they go for the hook? Looks like they feel like they have the time to spare, and does get their second hook, first progression of this match. We do see what appears to be a totem currently gone, but we don't know what totem it was. Could have been one of many. Looks like Kashak is out and about and does get insta-downed, leading us to believe that it was Haunted Ground, which was activated in that moment. If an instance that this killer does have Undying, Haunted Ground will be back out in the wild, really putting some awkward pressure on Forward Dwight's One Locker as we speak. Looks like Zaka going to be taking the time to third hook Kashak here. And on 5 gens, that will be a very early death for Forward Dwight's One Locker, putting them into a very awkward position here. And looks like Bitsy as well will be going to second stage, and Joker does end up going down. This is not looking good for Forward Dwight's One Locker here. It looks like maybe Nurse is their weakness, as we are seeing a completely different game of Survivor in comparison to the game prior. I mean, I think their only hope at this point is to potentially find Hatch. If anything, I might have recommended letting Bitsy die on hook there, and to try and maybe get Hatch for Luma. But then again, I guess that would have been a lot of time spent in an attempt to get that. Still on 0 gens here, and Bitsy does go back down. We have not seen a DS this game thus far, so maybe Nurse, being a bit wary here, and ends up determining that they're not able to get to Joker's hook before the unhook happens, so decent play there, opting to go for Bitsy. Do we see a DS? We do not, and that will be another hook, resulting in 5 hooks, 2 progressions thus far. And Bitsy is now officially out of the game. And Joker going back down. This is not looking good. Looks like Zaka opting to slug out, going for Luma. Trying to secure the 4K here, not allowing Forward Dwight's any chance of escape. Now, no joke this round, that is for certain. Looks like Zaka has something to prove after losing 2 survivors on the last one. And so they brought out all the stops. Joker is back up, however. Possibly an unbreakable or just a very sneaky play by Luma. But these survivors need to get a gen done, and I just don't see a way of it happening. I do not see them potentially getting an escape. I think the only way it happens is if RNG's in their favor and Zaka decides not to slug out here, as Joker does go back down. And now on the prowl for Luma once again. But with no chance of finding them. Zaka might be forced here to go for the hook. But then again, they have, what, probably another 3 minutes and 30 seconds for this bleed out. So they have time to spend. I mean, at the end of the day, a nurse in the right hands, this is what we'll see. I do think there were some mistakes made by Forward Whites 1 Locker, to be fair, but hey, at the end of the day, you live and let live. And Zaka, once again, trying to find Luma here, but no luck thus far. And will we see Joker get back up? Of course, Joker getting up will result in Zaka knowing their relative location. Unless maybe Soul Guard is in play, which at this point I'm feeling that is probably not the case. We do hear Joker on the ground, Zaka refusing to pick up, however. So will we end up trying to find Luma? Checking the locker for blood, no blood there. And Luma really just waiting this out. I mean, theoretically speaking, if Zaka doesn't pick up Joker in the next 2 minutes, that will be a loss of points. So that could be a concerning situation for them to be in. And Zaka giving it up and opting to go for the hook on Joker instead. You know, that might just simply be the right move to suicide out here and hope that you're able to find Hatch in the meanwhile. In regards to the Forward Whites 1 Locker. At least at that point, you're getting some points. Not many, mind you, only 3. But some points is better than nothing in this situation. And they do end up finding Luma. Joker does get their progression. And that will be a 1 hook, 2 progressions for Luma. Resulting in 0 points for Forward Whites 1 Locker survivors and 43 points on EMA's killer. That now puts the score to 102 to 61. Now, we've had some really, really close games in Match 1, Match 2. Match 3, on the other hand, a utter blowout, and we see the build of Zaka's being Corrupt Intervention, Hex Ruin, Hex Undying, and Hex Haunted Ground. A very, very roulette-style build, but it ended up working out for Zaka, to say the least. So, good game on their part. With that being said, I do believe our last killer of the day is going to be Yui. So, let's make sure Yui jumps into the next match and then throws on Cold Tower. Let me see if they are online as we speak. Yeah, both teams have now played Nurse, so no Nurse can be used. And EMA coming out with a very, very handed victory. So all you who voted on EMA, enjoy your channel points. And this will be for all the marbles, guys. We have one more prediction for you. Who will win it all? Forward Whites 1 Locker or EMA? It is your time to vote. So now I just need an invite from Yui. I should join them in their lobby. And this will be our last match of round 1 on the Cold Tower. And when EMA is ready, they are more than welcome to join. And let's see here. At EMA. Please join Yui. Looks like we're good on Cold Tower. At Yui. Build, please. Alright. So, let's take a look at the scorecard real quick while we have a moment here. What does Forward Whites 1 Locker need to do to win this? If they were to get just, let's say, a 3K, would that make a difference? No, they're going to need more than that. It's looking like they're going to need a 4K, and not only a 4K, they're going to need a 4K before EMA does 3 generators. So Yui, who is the killer for this match, is going to have to bring out all the stops to ensure it. It's going to be a hard-fought match, to say the least. So they need a full 4K before 3 gens. Is it possible? Absolutely, especially after the last showing we saw. But is it likely? That is the question. Personally, I've not seen Yui play, so I can't say for certain. We're going to have to wait and see here. It looks like I did receive the build for Yui. And we are good to go on this build. And now I just need builds from EMA. And we should be good to go momentarily. So on Survivor, we have Gem, we have Card, we have Zaka, and Zynox. So let's switch over to the main screen in the meanwhile. So what are you guys thinking? If you're for this one locker and you know you need to get a 4K before 3 gens, and when I say 4K, I mean a true 4K. With any progressions, you need to get a 4K before 2 gens. Any progressions, 4K before 2 gens. So do you think it's possible? And if you are for this one locker, what would you bring? That is the question of the day. All right. I'm very interested to see what Yui brings. Right now, we're just waiting on the builds from EMA's Survivor side as we speak. Oh, looks like maybe some lobby issues on part of Zynox, but is getting back on in. And let's see here. Right now, we can have a chat with Clown Boy. You're voting for Fortnite's one locker, one cap, top bet. I mean, hey, it's not impossible. I mean, as we saw that last round, it is not impossible for there to be a 4K before even 1 generator's done. Of course, I do feel like Fortnite's one lockers did make some mistakes that round. It is certainly not impossible, to say the least. And guys, as a reminder, while we are waiting here, if you guys do want to support the league, both the league as a whole as well as the competitors, please make sure to subscribe or donate bits, or simply put, make sure you're a viewer. Make sure to have more viewers come on in. The sooner that we get partnered, the potential for sponsorships comes in, where we can get a larger prize pool for these competitors. Right now, the prize pool is generated simply from your viewership and subscriptions alike. You can find the exact dollar denominations over on the Discord using exclamation point Discord if you are interested. But $1 of every sub goes to the prize pool, 50% of bits goes to the prize pool, and all of the ad revenue goes to the prize pool as well. But so far, builds looking good on EMA. Currently waiting on the last 2 as we speak. No, that's the right scene. You know, this is my clown. I don't think that Yui's bringing clown. Don't worry, don't worry. You know, we're having a lovely chat with Clown Boy here. That's all. All right, third build looking good. Waiting on the 4th one to come through from EMA. And last but not least, looks like they're making some last-minute decisions. You know, let's talk to some. Who do we want to talk to? You know, Clown's fine. You know, he's talking about his love for Pinky Fingers. That's all. Clown is 2 OP. It's going to be 4K at 20 gens. Instamori 100%, no doubt. So I'm not gonna. So let me confirm here for you real quick. Still waiting on 4th build for EMA. So the reason, Yui, why I'm still waiting here and not on killers, because we're waiting on the 4th build. That's all. But we're looking good on the builds based on what I'm seeing. So we should be good to go. All right. And with that being said, good luck, have fun to 4 Dwights, 1 Locker and EMA. This here is for all of the marbles. I also do want to make sure that I do mark that the nurse was used by EMA. Should be good. And like I said earlier, we're looking for a 4K at 3 gens, a true 4K. If you end up looking for a 4K on, with any progressions, that needs to be a 4K on 2 gens. So let's see what Yui brings to the table if they are able to do as necessary. Let's wait and find out. So will they bring a top tier killer, an S tier or an A tier, or will they opt to save it for another game? Keep in mind that these teams only play against each other once, so this is 4 Dwights, 1 Locker's chance to shine against EMA. And honestly, in my opinion, they've done a wonderful job. I really do think so. So I think this is a great showing by 4 Dwights, 1 Locker. For those who don't know, I actually previously was on 4 Dwights back in my days in Vigo's court. So I love seeing how far this team has grown, and love seeing that they're able to play against EMA, which is known for being a really, really good Survivor team and killer team alike. But looks like the builds are good, and we see Card, we see Zaka, Gem, and Yui as the Blight, rushing around as we speak, trying to pressure these gens as soon as possible. We do see Corrupt Intervention as well currently in use, and not sure if trying to mind game there, or just keep an eye out elsewhere, and does find another set of survivors. Does not have the ability to go for the lethal rush on anyone though. Especially around those tight loops, they are very hard to play around unless you are an experienced player, and even then, it can be quite difficult. Question of the day, will they be able to pressure the gens before they're able to get a single down? And so far, Blight is struggling. Trying to mind game there with the quick loop, but going to be drop and chase, and we do see a Tinker activation in the distance. Will the Blight go for it? And they do. Trying to pressure the gen, and does get a hit, but looks like EMA trying to force out this first gen, but opts to disengage out of fear of the down. Looks like Yui, though, trying to pressure Card here, and does get the hit. Very nicely done, but that is first gen out. And right now, 4 Dwights, 1 Locker's chances of winning here, slowly but surely coming to an end. But does get the down on Zaka, and the first hook of this match. At this point in time, they need another 11 hooks before another 2 gens are done. And I think that's going to be a pretty difficult task indeed. You see them checking over by a totem, checking the gen, and going back to the hook, which I don't know if that's the right move here, right? As I said, if they are to win, they need to get a 4K with 0 progressions, or a 4K with 2 progressions on 2 generators done. And they are going for the hit, and just barely within. Really good attempt there on the slide, but to no avail. And looks like Zynox now taking the attention of the Blight. Does get a vault here, though. And will they get a hit is the question. They do. Very nicely done on that flick. And looks like Shaq is now locked down, but Tinker in the distance. Blight now has to make a decision. They go for the Tinkerer, or go for the down. Looks like they are prioritizing the Tinkerer for good reason, but is not able to capitalize off it in the end. And unfortunately, not able to get the down on Card. I do fear that we'll see another gen tinkered again here. And looks like Yui does also lose a totem. Based on what I've seen, that is very likely to be Ruin or Undying. Question is what their build is. And they do get a nice slide down on Zynox. but I do believe we'll see another gen popping off here. Another Tink in the distance. Will they be able to get there in time? I do not believe so. They only have 24 seconds on one person. And a third Tinker as well. That is going to be a problem. If you are Yui, what do you do knowing the stakes at hand? That is the question. They will end up swinging and missing on card. A firecracker attempt here, and they will end up getting away there. Instead, they'll go for Nia and shredding God Palette. That is now officially 2 gens down for EMA. And at this point, they will need to down and hook all survivors with 0 progressions. And there is the 3rd gen. Obviously, I want Yui to play this out, but that is the swan song for White White's One Locker, as they have officially lost this match. So overall, really good plays here by EMA. Obviously, they knew the situation that they're in and how close they were to winning. And for all intent and purpose, how little they needed to do. And so all the pressure was on Yui this match, to say the least. So at this point, it's, you know, more or less just Yui gaining experience against EMA, which I think, honestly, if Yui comes out of this with a 6-hook 2K, I would be pretty happy as a competitor here, you know, playing against a very good team with this Blight. So, you know, some might argue that this was a waste of a Blight pick, but honestly, I think that, you know, it's good experience nonetheless as a competitor. Looks like they are going to prioritize the Tink over here instead of going for the immediate pop. Does miss the hit, however, on that tight loop, and will now pop the gen in the meanwhile. I think, honestly, a good play. And we do see what looks to be second wind on Gem. Or is that a deliverance in the distance? And we do see another Tinker as well over by that hill. What will Yui do here? Will they give up the gen? And a second Tinkerer. EMA giving 0 breathing room to Yui here. And Yui just going from gen to gen to gen. And really probably not even be able to think straight at this point in time. And we do see a 8-second regression on that generator by Zaka. And Blight here trying to get a sneaky hit. Do we see a dumb tech? We do not, but we do see a life instead. And Yui going for the hit and just narrowly missing it on Zaka. Very good usage of those tight loops to ensure that they're able to get away unscathed. Yui now bopping the gen, but as we mentioned earlier on the Twins match, when you bop a gen instead of popping it, it is a 0.3% regression per second, meaning that roughly, give or takes 3 seconds for you to regress a gen a full percent. And Blight gets the down on Zaka, but that is the 5th gen, and we're more likely than not be a 3 or 4 man out here. Let's see if Blight is able to confirm the second person on hook and able to get a 2K here. It'll definitely be difficult for them, but not impossible. And honestly, I'd still, as Yui, walk away from this match pretty happy with my gameplay. They played a good match overall and are doing pretty well with Blight. It's just that at the end of the day, EMA put up a good fight as well, as we did see here. You see bounce landing, and looks like Yui going for the down on card. And that will be, I believe, first hook for card, or is that second hook? We'll find out in just one moment. That is first hook for card. And it would appear that will be a 3-man out with 2 more progressions. So that is going to be a 8-hook game in total. I mean, realistically speaking, not bad at all, but unfortunately not enough to secure the win, as that does result in a final score of EMA at 140 and Ford White's One Locker at 91. Forward White's one locker, ending up losing the match, but putting up a very, very good fight. So congratulations to EMA. GG's, well played to all. And with that being said, that will be our first match of round 1, EMA versus Forward White's one locker, over. And EMA comes out the victor here. With that being said, I really do hope that you guys enjoyed the show today. I know that I did. And we will be back again at 8 p.m. CST with a back-to-back match. We have our 8 to 10 and then our 10 to 12. So if you are interested in watching more matches, make sure to drop a follow. Leave a sub as well if you want to support this league. And on that note, I'm your commissioner and primary host, Guiltspire. You can catch me over on twitch.tv/Guiltspire. I'm an educational Dead by Daylight player. But I will see you later tonight at 8 p.m. CST for We Can't Loop against Travesty, I believe. Let me confirm that real quick. I'll see you later for Legacy against We Can't Loop. With that being said, everybody, I will see you next time. Bye-bye!